There are a lot of ways to start the show. You're obviously pissed off. I'm incredibly pissed off. Tiki's pissed off. Will you come back? Will you return once baseball returns? I don't know. Maybe you won't come back. Yes, they've got pace issues. Yes, once again, the optics are awful. You've got the clown commissioner practicing his pitching wedge in view of the camera. He's laughing at the podium. Yes, the shift is an issue. Yes, the excessive strikeouts and the inaction, the relative inaction during a game. They're all the reasons why we lament why baseball is dying, right? Forget about that for a second, all right? Not that it's not important. It is. But today, what you and I need to talk about, because this is all that matters in our opinion, baseball is broken. Baseball, and this has nothing to do with the negotiations. Baseball is busted. And I have racked my mind all night to come up with an answer. I don't have one. Baseball is busted. I'll tell you why in a moment. Yeah. But baseball's busted.
Well, it is, and they're only making it worse on themselves because of the fact that they're not playing, and they've canceled the first two series of the season already. Not that can't be scheduled in the CBA. I mean, it's very nebulous. The commissioner is being bombastic with his threats towards the players, and we don't know what that's ultimately going to, how it's going to pan out once these negotiations restart, which, by the way, aren't happening until tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
back in New York now. Here.
Back in New York.
Yeah.
So after all this progress, or at least perceived progress, reported progress, they are off the table right now. They're back in New York, and they're not going to talk again until Thursday. But the biggest issue from a fan standpoint is, one, you're pissed because there's no baseball. But two, the things that they're talking about still seem so trivial in the big picture.
Yep.
But as we talked about before we started the show, and what we're going to talk about, it's bigger than that. It's
much bigger.
It's much bigger than the money that they are piddling around on paper trying to come to a conclusion about. It's bigger.
And here's the depth of their issues, all right? No matter what we do and no matter what they present in terms of de facto salary cap, will there be a floor, what's the ceiling, this and that, the revenue disparity, all right, the revenue, and we know this, is never going to change. No matter what the Guardians do, they'll never be the Yankees. No matter what the A's do, they'll never be the new Mets with Stevie Cohen. No matter what the Orioles do, they'll never be the Dodgers. We know this, so we're not going to waste your time talking about this. But the revenue disparity is so stark, but there's also that issue in other sports. The Grizzlies, no matter what they do, they'll never be the Knicks.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
The Milwaukee Bucks, no matter what they do, they will never generate revenue to the extent of the Lakers. But the difference is, in baseball, you draft a kid to try to close the competitive gap, some 6'6" farm boy who throws 99 from the cornfields of Iowa, who we might not ever see in the middle of a baseball diamond. The Grizzlies draft Ja Morant. When the Cavaliers are a doormat, they get LeBron. Back in the day, OKC was terrible. Oh, here's Kevin Durant. We'll fix you up. When the Knicks were awful in '85, here's Ewing. The Mavericks were down. Here's Doncic. The problem with baseball, Tiki, and again, this is what I've stressed over. I put the other stuff aside momentarily. I don't know how you suture this wound.
Yeah.
It's not just about the money. It's about the inability for all the teams, the Rays, the A's, the Guardians, the Marlins, the Orioles, the Pirates, maybe two or three others, right, to immediately inject on the major league level a talent that is going to immediately impact their team.
Yeah.
They're just, baseball's not built that way.
No, it's not. And it's hard. And you know that there are stars that coming out of college or even high school. We talk about the Bryce Harpers of the world, BT, but he's the unicorn. He's like one of one that manipulates his way into the majors at whatever it was, 19 years old, 20 years old, and is actually pretty good. Now, there are some younger kids that are starting to change this a little bit in baseball, but most of them are internationals. Ohtani was one.
Acuna,
Guerrero. But by and large, your point is very well taken. And when you think about this happening in baseball, I have to go back to Dansby Swanson because we were leading up to
Swimmy,
Samsonite. But Dansby Swanson, the only reason this is so heavy in my mind is because In 2015, Vanderbilt won the national championship in baseball, and they beat Virginia. They beat my alma mater. And I was like, this Swanson kid, what the hell? And then he gets drafted number 1 overall by the Arizona Diamondbacks. I was like, this kid is just going to crush it in the league. You know what he did his first 2 seasons, BT? First of all, he got traded immediately to the Atlanta Braves. His first season, he hit 302, but only had 129 at-bats, right? And then he first full real season was 2017.
At the age of what, 22 at this point?
He was 22 at that
22.
time. 22. 23 years old with the Braves. Hit 232.
Okay.
Got 6 home runs.
Yeah.
It was. Next year, he hit 238. He had 14 home runs. He was starting to get a little bit better. He's finally made an impact in Major League Baseball in 2020. This is 2015, by the way.
Yeah, it's a while ago.
I was like, this kid is going to be a star. Look what he did in college. He's going to be a star. It didn't happen for 5 more years. And that's short for some of these guys to kind of make it and figure it out. And so baseball doesn't have the ability like any other sport. You draft Joe Burrow if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. You go from being a 2-win team and a 4-win team to being in the damn Super Bowl.
That's my point.
Right? It just doesn't happen.
There's an inherent challenge for baseball, and it's beyond what Manfred projects. It's beyond what we complain about all the time.
Yeah.
The pace, the strikeouts, the shift. It's beyond that.
Yeah.
It is just broken and busted. And I don't know how you fix it.
No, you can't.
And, quite
now
frankly,
it's exacerbated because the CBA isn't done and they're delaying games and we're not going to even have an opening day, at least not when we're supposed to.
No, we're not. And listen, I'll be totally honest. If there was no lockout right now, I wouldn't give a rat's behind about the Orioles or the A's or the Rays or the Marlins or the Pirates' plight. I don't care. As long as the Yanks and the Mets, they have a chance to do a little damage. And I know the Red Sox will be waiting for the Yankees and a few other teams, the Rays, obviously. And the West is, the NL is going to be pretty top-heavy with some really good teams, and we'll see what the Mets do. That's really all we care about. But now when it impacts the fact that there's nobody on the field, now you almost have to care about these teams that, in totality, we don't care about. And I want to illuminate this thing. Now, only baseball can mess this up, all right? The timing of the expiration of the CBA, it is what it is. It's certainly not serendipitous.
Yeah.
But can you imagine a situation? You know what April 15th is?
No. Well,
besides tax day.
I was going to say tax day.
Besides, we all get royally screwed day. Besides that day.
What is it?
Take a guess. I'll tell you because there's so many things. You ready? You ready?
Go ahead.
April 15th is Jackie Robinson Day. And it's also the 75th.
Didn't know that.
75th. Anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. Can you imagine the optics of 30? What is it? 30? I always mess up the amount of teams. 32.
Yeah.
Empty, what is it? 30?
It's 30.
I always mess up with the spot. How many teams are there?
It's 30.
30 teams.
Yeah.
30 empty stadiums.
No.
Where you just see the tarp on these on Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah.
We're not even playing.
Wow.
I mean, think about that. It's sad. I guess it's somewhat predictable with baseball. I was riding the energy train, trying to, put it out there, and hopefully it comes to fruition. I was fooled. I admit it. I'll take the L on this. I thought we were gravitating toward a solution. If you want to look back and play Monday morning quarterback, maybe the absolute wrong move was to leave at 2:30 in the morning with all this forward momentum, remain bleary-eyed, remain in the room. Don't go home when you have a chance to recalibrate. Stay in the damn room. Maybe you get some movement. But this is a huge problem. This is a monster gap, and I don't know when baseball's coming back.
Yeah, I
don't know.
And I think we got a little bit of clarity from the players yesterday. Some of it we don't really know what it means, but we're going to try to talk to it. But I think the biggest thing that Max Scherzer said, and I don't know if we have the sound, but it doesn't even matter. I can paraphrase it probably better than the sound will because he kind of stumbled through what he was trying to say. But one of the most important things that Max Scherzer said was about the young players in the game, exactly what we're alluding to. Like the young players in the game are now contributing early. Like they're up early and they're contributing, and it takes them forever to get paid. It used to be, you have a young player come in, he's going to get 100 at-bats over the course of a season, and maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, he becomes an everyday player and he's a star, and he's in his third year or second year of arbitration, and it's like, all right, this kid's going to get paid in a little bit. Nowadays, these kids are stars from jump, 20 years old, and they're not being compensated.
They're still handcuffed.
They're very much handcuffed.
That's a good point by Scherzer.
It's a great point by Scherzer. A perfect example is Shohei Ohtani, who we've talked about for the last 2 or 3 years. He's still got another year before he's actually going to get paid.
Isn't that amazing?
He actually had because he came internationally, and there was a different type of bonus with him coming in, but. He's only on his second year of arbitration this year. Next year, he's got another year of arbitration.
And he's the face of baseball.
And before he's a free agent in 2024, and he's the face of baseball.
I think he's the indisputable face of baseball.
That's right.
When he's healthy.
And by the way, he's not dissimilar to Aaron Judge. The Angels have the same kind of grasp on Shohei Ohtani like the Yankees have on Aaron Judge. He's going to be 29 when he finally is a free agent, unrestricted free agent, and can get paid.
And what do you hear? How much more time remains of his prime?
Yes.
And you know what? If I owned the team, I'd be espousing the same thing.
That's exactly right.
You're 29, buddy. You've been banged up a little bit. We love you, but blah, blah, blah. So, there was some movement where I really am. I maybe the emotion of it all and just the real desire to see baseball kind of led me obviously in the wrong direction, but just some numbers for you because there was some movement. All right, now the jump in minimum wage, if you will, for a major league player jumped 130,000. And it would have gone from 170 to 7. Now, the players want, I think, 720, 725, so they're not fully satisfied there. All right, $25,000 a player, it's peanuts. But you look back at the history of the game and some of the bigger jumps. So in 1989 to 1990, it jumped 32,000. From 96 to 97, it jumped 41. And from 02 to 03, it jumped 100,000. So this is movement that, if I'm part of the union, I'm saying, all right, I can live with this, but it really is the CBT. That's all there is to it, and I get it. It's a flex on the part of the owners to shove this kind of a salary cap down their throat to keep salaries from exponentially blasting through the roof. And if I'm a player, you got to dig in deep. Listen. I know it's easy to say, and I got this a lot on social media. And this is by no means to trivialize, obviously, what's happening around the world right now. It's so sad with Ukraine, and it's going to get worse in the next 2 or 3 days. But I've gotten a lot of tweets, and I understand the emotion fueling you hitting the keyboard when you write me, hey, baseball, how can baseball take themselves so seriously when a country's being overtaken, people are dying, and we get that. We really do. But to defend baseball a little bit here, it's not baseball's fault that there's a war going on. And they really are independent of one another. Yeah. You got to understand that. I know that emotionally it kind of drives you in that direction, and I get it, the visceral reaction. But you've got to separate the two. This is business, and the business of baseball is busted, which means the sport is broken, and it seems irreparable. It seems irreparable, and I'm an optimist by nature. It seems irreparable. 877-337-6666. All right. Your time to rock. Let's go. John's in West Patterson.
Hey,
John.
Hey, fellas.
What's up, John?
Glad to have you on the station.
Appreciate you, man.
VT. Thanks, Tiki. VT, you opened up saying the sport is broken. I'm 43, and in the town that I grew up in, Little League in-town baseball, we had about 12 teams. Now my kids are baseball eligible, 11 and 9 years old. One doesn't want to play.
Ugh.
The other one, they have to reach out to neighboring towns to form a league.
Wow.
And when I'm in the presence of these kids, they don't care that baseball's not coming back. They want to talk NFL mock draft at 11 years old. They want to talk mock draft, combine, NBA. They are not missing baseball, and it's scary.
Yeah.
Well, what is the solution here, John? Those are things we know. I hear you, and I see it as well. My town's pretty vibrant with baseball, but I get it. I've seen others that aren't. What's the solution?
One of the things that I think of is they do not have a compelling championship series. The World Series starts at 8:40 East Coast. These kids don't get to know who's the champion of baseball till the morning.
Yeah,
I
you're right.
mean,
That's true.
They
You know,
don't see
that's
the
part of
games. They
it.
don't see, and they don't see how they transpire.
That's true.
And some of them have been epic. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Epic. You're not even kidding. Epic is the word. Those are the best games in the history of the sport in October, and the kids have no chance to see them. NFL Championship Sunday, 3 and 6 p.m. Come on, you got to expose the best part of the game to the kids.
Here's the problem, John. How do you do that when you're going up against football in October?
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
true.
do that if you put that on at 3 o'clock. No one's watching the World Series. Nobody's watching playoff games.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, come on. You can't put it up against the red zone and gambling and fantasy football.
Yeah,
be a death nail. Be a silver bullet right to the skull.
Maybe, but
you can't do that.
But the diehards would be there, and you got to remember half of those
But
games.
the diehards are always there.
I know, but half of those games in the NFL. I mean, do you really care about?
I
Like,
mean,
are they that meaningful?
I'm pretty revved up on NFL Sunday, man, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, there's
none of which are really actually my team.
There's ways to schedule around. I mean, it's
well,
hard.
give me one. I don't know that there's a way.
There could be, but the problem is that the football wants to dominate, right? They're not going to be like, all right, baseball, you have this day. All right, we got you on this
throw
day.
your bone?
We got you.
Here's a little
you
pity
can take
bone.
this one, right? It's just never going to happen.
No, I wouldn't do it either if
What
I'm
I'm saying
football.
is you schedule around by having games on Saturday in October.
College football. Good luck against the SEC. Have fun.
October. Yeah, I guess so.
Have fun.
You can't. It's true.
That's
It's a
what
good
I'm
point.
saying.
It's a good point. I didn't think
it's
about
easy
college.
to say.
I forgot about the college stuff.
It's easy to say, T. Well, they could get creative with scheduling. I'm all ears. Tell me how. I've got an answer for you. How about, I don't know, Wednesday at 3:30? Kids are out of school, but they won't do it. Not prime time. And if it's not prime time, you can't command the amount of advertising dollars that you command at 8:18. They don't care who's watching. Now, by the way, I don't want to be overly repetitive today. And we'll, at least from our point of view, you guys, I mean, this is about the fans, a day like this for sure. So you go wherever you want to go. My main point is that it's broken. And I want you to hear me on this level. Not just about, nobody steals anymore, the shift, the strikeouts, the inordinately number of strikeouts, and pitchers throw 90 pitches, they're out. These are things we know. So let's not be repetitive, at least you and I.
Yeah.
We know this, and everybody knows this. Baseball is broken because the revenue disparity, all right, which will never change between the Yankees and the Guardians and the Mets and the Rays and the Red Sox and the Pirates, that's never changing. The revenue disparity plus the inability to immediately inject a talent that will immediately impact the professional product is not there, like it is in the NBA, like it is in the NFL. I know the Cowboys would have been pretty, decent anyway. You throw Parsons on the field, he's ready.
Yeah.
I know Trevor Lawrence had no coaching, but, Trevor Lawrence, watch what Trevor Lawrence does this year
That's right.
with Doug Peterson.
That's right.
John Morant, ready immediately.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, ready immediately. Grant Hill, ready immediately. Ready immediately. LeBron James, Doncic, ready. Some 6'5" corn-fed hillbilly out in Montana, I don't know if he's ready.
Yeah. And you
I don't know if he's ready.
And you might never see him.
Correct.
You might never see him.
And that will not change.
That's right. Hunter Green. I remember that name, BT.
Sure.
Hunter Green was on the was he on Sports Illustrated?
He was on the cover of
SI. Two-way kid.
Yep.
Pitcher, hitter, everything. Kid's going to be amazing. Where is Hunter Green?
Anybody see Hunter Green these days?
I have not said his name in 4 years.
It's crazy. 877-337-6666.